Hey guys, Bob here from Raw Strength and Muscle, and I got a question about TRT or testosterone replacement therapy from the comment section of another video. Definitely love these questions, definitely love answering them. This time the guy asked basically, how TRT is done. Like, is it an injection? What is it? Okay. He apologized and said he's sorry if it's a stupid question, and it's not, because there are a million different versions of TRT or testosterone replacement therapy, and I want to talk about my experience and my research and my opinion on all of them. But first of all, as always, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not qualified to talk about shit. This is not legal advice, and this is certainly not medical advice. This is just my experience, okay? My research and my opinion. And all I'm offering this to you is to use it as food for thought. Do your own research about some of the things I talk about. Talk to your doctor about some of the things I talk about. But don't do a goddamn thing I say unless your doctor thinks it's a good idea too. Okay, so like I said, he asked basically, is this, is it an injection? How does it work? Okay. Believe it or not, there are a million different types of TRT. Okay. So one way is like a cream. Basically, you take like some testosterone gel, rub it on your body. It seeps into your skin, and boom, you got testosterone. Okay. There's another way. There's like a little pellet that you actually have injected into your body. It slowly dissolves, and as it slowly dissolves, it slowly releases testosterone into your body. Okay. There are different types of esters, okay, so to speak, which basically means testosterone is testosterone. But think of it as like, M&Ms, melt in your mouth, not in your hands, because they're covered with like candy, whereas like a candy bar is just chocolate, okay? Basically, the ester is like the coating around the M&M. So it's still chocolate, it's still testosterone, but certain types of testosterone go straight into your system. Certain types of testosterone take a little bit longer, much longer, or a huge, much longer to be released into your body, okay? So let's go ahead and just start talking about, like I said, some of my research. Now, first of all, my best suggestion, and this is, you could just end the video right here, is if you're considering testosterone or any type of hormone replacement therapy, go to a website. It's called ExcelMale, ExcelMale.com. Haven't been there in a couple years probably, but back when I was getting into testosterone replacement, that's where I went to get a lot of my information, okay? First of all, there are guys that have been on testosterone replacement or different types of hormone replacement for years. Okay, they've got a lot of experience. They've made a lot of mistakes. They've found a lot of things out about their body. They're very knowledgeable. Another thing is it is sponsored by more than one online hormone replacement clinic, which means it's not one person trying to sell his shit. You can look at several different hormone replacement clinics, and a lot of the doctors from these clinics are active in the forum, so you can kind of get to know them a little bit. Go into the forum, read what they say, ask a question. You kind of get to know what their attitude is, what their techniques are, etc., etc., etc. So you can choose. You can inform yourself from the doctors. You can inform yourself from the articles. You can inform yourself from the experience of the people who post in the forum. And you could, like I said, speak to the doctors themselves and check out the different clinics. That's 100% my absolute best advice for anyone considering hormone replacement of any type. Now, let's go ahead and start talking, okay? I don't buy this gel shit. I think it's fucking ridiculous, okay? First of all, I can't, I have like pumps in my bathroom, like, shampoo and, face lotion and like body wash and stuff like this. I can't get the same amount of shampoo in my hand by pumping it once or twice any 2 days in a row, okay? So I'm kind of curious about how this is supposed to work. You got a pump, and you're supposed to pump some, squirt some fucking gel into your hand and then rub it on your body, okay? Like, is this really the best way to measure this shit? I don't know, okay? Second, what happens if you sweat, or what happens if you wear clothes? Does it rub off, okay? What happens if you have to take a shower, okay? Then those are just questions that I've come up with. I will tell you right now that I know a lot of people who have problems with their testosterone replacement gel because their wives. You know, they don't want to get the fucking testosterone gel on their wives if they fucking have sex or even cuddle or hug their wives. Like, is there going to be some transfer here? Is she going to get his shit? You know, people are like, well, my wife's trying to get pregnant, so I don't want to get her fucking my testosterone gel. I think it's fucking bullshit. I would not use it. I think it's fucking stupid, okay? Bottom line, if you cannot inject a needle into your body, don't fucking do this shit. Now let's talk about these little pellets, okay? These pellets remind me of things back when I was in Germany a few years ago. Girls would use them as birth control. They would go to the doctor, they would inject into their body like a little stift, they called it, like a little stick, okay? And it would slowly slowly dissolve in their body. And, you know, we would provide them with like contraception while it was dissolving. Now, the problem with that is a lot of people had side effects. A lot of these girls would just get fat, they gain weight, they just feel like horseshit because it's fucking with their hormones. The problem is they got this fucking stick injected in their fucking body that they can't just fucking take out. So they have to ride that motherfucker out, okay? You feel like shit, you're a bitch, you're fucking lazy, you're fat, you feel like whatever. She has to ride that shit out until it dissolves. And it's the same thing, you know, the way I see it with this pellet. You get this pellet in your body, you don't like it, well, you're fucked, okay? Enjoy the motherfucking ride because it'll be a couple months until your shit's out and then however long until it's out of your system, okay? So definitely don't recommend that, okay? If you want to fucking use testosterone, and that means use a needle to use testosterone, okay? The only way that I think you can measure it, get it into your body, know what's in your body, okay? Now, the problem with there are two problems with testosterone that I know of firsthand and that everybody talks about. Number one is keeping a regular hormone level, okay? I knew, it was my mother's late husband, okay? She actually married this guy a couple years ago. It was kind of tragic because they fell in love, got married, and within like, you know, a couple years, he died, okay? But it was an awesome experience while I was gone, so I was glad she had this experience, okay? Anyway, I was talking to him. He was on testosterone replacement. And his endocrinologist gave him, it was a shot every other week. So every 2 weeks, okay, he got a certain amount of testosterone injected. He did not get HCG, which I'll talk about in a minute. He did not get an aromatase inhibitor, okay? Talk about that in a minute. So the problem with taking a lot of testosterone at once and then 2 weeks later taking it again is you do something called the hormonal roller coaster. You take too much testosterone, then it drops, now you have too little testosterone, then you would shoot up again and it's too much, and then it drops, and it's too little. So it's like up and down, okay? I told you about the esters, okay? The M&M coatings on the testosterone. The idea with the esters is if it takes like, let's say, you know, 7 days or 14 days for the half-life, for half of the testosterone to be gone, people think, and even some doctors and even this guy's endocrinologist thought, you know, you could just have it in your body and it will slowly at the same level go through into your body, you know, over time. And that's simply not true. Okay, the bottom line is you need to inject bare minimum once a week, okay? My clinic has me injecting once a week, okay? That's just the way it is. Now, have I changed that around a little bit? Yes, I have, okay? Because you have the hormonal roller coaster, which means you have too much and too little, too much and too little. Another problem is when you have too much testosterone, it goes through something called aromatization, which means it gets transferred from testosterone into estrogen. Estrogen is a female hormone, but men have it as well, just like women also have testosterone. Too much estrogen, your life sucks. Too little estrogen, your life sucks. So if you take a large injection of testosterone and your testosterone levels spike, a lot of that's going to change into estrogen, which means a lot of it, your just estrogen is going to be high, okay? And your life's going to suck. So one thing you could do is you could go ahead and you could take an aromatase inhibitor, okay? Arimidex or anastrozole is what I get from the clinic, okay? This is basically something, it's like a female anti-cancer drug is what it is, because women having too much estrogen, not good for the boobies. So they take that to lower their estrogen. It works for men too, okay? So what you have to do is you have to find a way to keep your estrogen and your testosterone at a good level, okay? So by cutting this down, as opposed to shooting up every 2 weeks, shooting up once a week, shoot up at least twice a week, okay? And I'm not saying double your dosage. I'm saying if you shoot 1 cc a week, shoot half of a cc twice a week, okay? Because what you want to do basically is to keep your hormone levels right along the line you want them. You don't want them to go up to 1,000,000 and then drop down to 0, and up to 1,000,000 and drop down to 0. You want basically a straight line. So when you take an injection, it bumps it a little bit above the line, and then it goes a little bit down below the line. But then it's time to shoot up, and then it goes away, and then it's time to shoot up. So instead of going up and down, up and down, up and down, it's like a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, because you are injecting less testosterone more frequently. Okay, so this emotional roller coaster of having high test, low test, high test, low test, you just have normal test, okay, and it bumps along that line. Another thing is not having so much test at once means less testosterone is going to be converted into estrogen, which means you're going to have less of a problem dealing with your estrogen, okay? I remember when I first jumped on testosterone, okay, my estrogen levels were actually low. And when I first started using testosterone, things were going great. Like my libido, I'd just be walking down the street, driving my car, boom, pop a boner, can't fucking handle it. It's like, it hurts to push it down. Like I can't hide it. I'm just gonna have to ride it out. Just wait for it to go away. And then all of a sudden I started almost having like erectile dysfunction. And what I found out through blood tests and research and just, thinking about what happened is I had low estrogen. Then when I started injecting testosterone, some of the testosterone converted into estrogen, which raised my my estrogen levels. And when they were in the good range, they were too low. Then they were in the good range. Things were working great. And then when it went up too high, all of a sudden I had not real erectile dysfunction, but like it wasn't working the way it was before testosterone. Okay. So what I found out was like cutting down like a quarter of an Arimidex, okay, every 3 days, and injecting half a cc of test twice a week. Not medical advice. Don't do this. You can't take my protocol. It won't work for you, okay? I had to figure this shit out. So I inject half a cc twice a week, 1/4 of an Arimidex every 3 days, okay? And that keeps my testosterone level. It keeps my estrogen level, okay? Now, and like I said, the guy that, my mother's late husband was getting from his endocrinologist testosterone 1 shot every 2 weeks. Okay. Which is interesting. Okay. Because like I said, he also got no aromatase inhibitor, no Arimidex to keep his estrogen down, and he also got no HCG. Okay. When people talk about steroid balls, what they're talking about is basically your testicles produce testosterone. Inject testosterone, whether it's testosterone replacement from a doctor or PEDs from, the alley behind the gym, you are going to have testosterone in your body, and your balls are going to be like, well, check it out. Like, I'm obviously not needed here because somebody else is producing testosterone. So why don't I just go ahead and take a break? And they kind of shrink down. Okay. That's where you hear people talk about fertility issues. That's where you hear people talk about balls shrinking or testicular atrophy, which actually sounds worse than ball shrinking. That's where a lot of bad shit comes from. I mean, not bad shit like life-threatening, but bad shit like, decreased volume of semen, okay, stuff like that. Now, what HCG does is, this is also another female drug that men use while they're on testosterone replacement. What HCG does is it stimulates the production of testosterone by your testicles, okay? So number one, it keeps up your normal, quote, testosterone levels, okay? Whatever little amount of testosterone you create, like my 300 on a range of 300 to 1100, it keeps that little bit up, number one. Number two, keeps your balls full, okay? No atrophy, it helps with fertility. And also another thing that's really good about this is should you have to come off, okay? Like there was a period where I actually had my, I don't think I've spoken about this before, my TRT got screwed up. one of those things where like, your card doesn't get charged because whatever, it expires or it gets blocked or fraud alert or something. So like I didn't pay and then they're like, bar, and then they dropped me and then I'm like calling up like, what's going on? Like, dude, you didn't pay. I'm like, fuck, dude, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden I had to get back in the system and I had to have tests and done. And during this whole time, I was not on testosterone. Now I'm not going to say, and I got to say, basically, I kind of didn't even notice it, okay? Now, I know people are going to say with the esters, with this timed release, that it takes a long time for testosterone to go out of your system. I should have felt something, okay? It was long enough that the testosterone I had would have been out of my system, okay? It was weeks. It was just weeks, let's just call it that, okay? But since I had been using HCG the whole time, my testicles never really stopped, okay? So even though I had this interruption, and even though my testosterone kind of dropped a little bit, it wasn't as bad because I had been taking HCG the whole time. So what I'm basically saying here, and like I said, I know I may be rambling, I'm just trying to give you all of my experience and all of my research. I would not do anything where a person does not give you injectable testosterone. I would not do anything where a person does not have you inject at least once a week. I would not do anything with a person who does not at least have a conversation about HCG and aromatase inhibitors, okay? Forum a while ago, this one guy said, he talked to his quote doctor, like his normal general practitioner, his house doctor, and the guy was like, hey, I might have a problem with estrogen. Can we look into Arimidex? He's like, I'm not going to give you a female cancer drug, because the doctor is a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Now, when this happens, it's usually, like I said, because you don't go to a specialist, okay? You don't go to somebody who runs a clinic who all he does is deal with hormones all day, every day. A general practitioner, there are so many drugs, there are so many treatments. He might have to look up in the, the PDR, like the physician's desk reference or the Merck manual to find out what the fuck, Arimidex, HCG, whatever is, okay? And seriously, no bullshit, okay? There's a lot of medicine to learn. That's why if your tooth hurts, you don't go to your doctor, you go to a dentist, If you break a bone, you don't go to the doctor, you go to like an orthopod, right? And the same thing here. If you want to get hormones, you go to a doctor who specializes in hormones, okay? And another thing that I didn't quite mention is, so number one, I wouldn't go anywhere where they do not have injectable testosterone, creams, little pods that they inject in you, all that bullshit. Fuck that. I also would not go anywhere where a person does not allow you to inject yourself. There are a lot of places where you actually have to go to the doctor and have to inject get the injection and leave. What happens if, oh my God, for some reason the doctor's office is closed. Oh my God, you can't make it to the doctor on that day. Oh my God, whatever, something crazy happens. Oh my God, I want to go on vacation. Oh my God, I'm be gone on business for 3 months. What the hell do I do now? Like, once again, the hormonal roller coaster. You don't want to miss an injection. It fucks you up. So what you want to do is go to a place where they at least give you the option to inject yourself, okay? And another thing I want to say is, in terms of injection sites, okay, there's I really don't recommend you use a giant needle, okay? Basically, what you're going to be given is probably a 3 cc, okay, 3 cubic centimeter, 3 milliliter syringe, 1 inch long, probably 25 gauge, okay? Which basically means that it's a big needle, okay? Now, especially if you're gonna cut it down to like a half of a cc twice a week, or let's say you're gonna cut it down to a quarter of a cc every other day, which would be less than, it would be 3.5 injections. 4 injections a week would be 1 whole cc, okay, at a quarter per injection. 3.5, if you inject a quarter of a cc every other day, that's 3.5, so it's slightly less than a full cc. It's a quarter or a half of a cc. It's not a whole lot. So what I suggest you use is 29 gauge insulin syringes, okay? Like sometimes you'll see like a little bump, okay, over here at my shoulder. Basically, I just throw my shoulder up on like on a cabinet or something to relax the muscle, poke myself, inject my half of a cc, and then, like I said, 3 days later, I go ahead and I do the other arm. Okay, so that's basically the way I do it. That's what I suggest you do, because the facts of the matter is an inch long 25 gauge needle is a big fucking spike you're sticking into your body, okay? And the problem with that is every time you inject, you're going to be causing scar tissue. You're going to damage yourself. I mean, imagine jabbing yourself with a knife every day. It's going to cause scar tissue, okay? So by using a 1/2 inch instead of a 1 inch and a 29 instead of a 25 gauge needle, you are going to be causing less scar tissue. Also, when you shoot oil into your body, if it's a full CC, you're going to be causing more scar tissue because that oil has to go somewhere. You're going to cause more scar tissue also, okay? So it's a lot better to cut it up and do like with a smaller insulin syringe to go ahead and do like a 1/4 or a 1/2 a cc at a time, okay? Which means it's less painful, it's a lot easier, it causes a lot less scar tissue. It's just much better to do that, okay? The reason why I have insulin syringes is because every time I get my HCG, I get a whole bag of insulin syringes, and I don't need that many, okay? So that's what I use to inject the testosterone, okay? Aside from that, injection sites, I like my deltoids with the short needles. With a big needle, I like to put it in the ass. Okay, do not put anything into your quads. I've heard so many bad things about it. Everything from pain, not being able to walk, not being able to train, to like just infections. I don't know, for some reason people get infections a lot when they go ahead and inject themselves in their legs. Okay, so definitely small amounts go, for me, small amounts go in the shoulder, or when I was taking the whole CC at a time, put it in my butt. Okay. The HCG, just real quick for the people who don't know what it is, you get a little vial of powder. You get a little vial of bacteriostatic water. You mix the water into the powder. Okay, you basically take a needle, suck out some of the water, put it into the vial with the powder. It dilutes, okay, it becomes a liquid, and all you do is you just pinch a little bit of skin, usually in your stomach, your lower abdomen, and you just stick it in with the insulin syringe, okay? So anyway, I hope I didn't ramble too much, but I hope that this explains a whole lot, like what this guy's question was. Apparently, he's going to talk to a sports doctor and he said he wanted to know just about different types of hormone replacement. So I hope this explains everything that you wanted to know about TRT. The one last thing, I don't know what you mean by a sports doctor. I would be really careful to make sure that this guy is a specialist, okay? Like I said, I went to an online clinic. There are lots of online clinics where this is all they deal with. Guy I was talking about went to his endocrinologist, should know better, had no idea what he was talking about. Injection frequency, HCG, aromatase inhibitor, no idea about any of that. Stuff like that. So like I said, definitely go to a specialist. My girlfriend actually goes to a general practitioner, but he is very well known for specializing in hormone replacement or hormone whatever, okay? So like I said, make sure that if this is a sports doctor, make sure he knows what the hell he's doing. Basically like if I see a person from where I live, okay, like the Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine area of Florida, and they're on TRT and they're going to a doctor, most of them go to Dr. Bernard. Okay, that's the guy's name. And, they say, oh, this guy's great. He knows what he's talking about. So like I said, even though he's a GP, a general practitioner, a house doctor, he still specializes. Okay, so make sure the sports doctor is somebody who has been doing this and does a lot of it. Okay, not somebody who's going to look in the Merck manual and see, how much testosterone and, what should I give this guy? Okay. Anyway, I hope this answers the question. I hope I didn't ramble on too long. Definitely subscribe. I talk about more than hormone replacement. This is very rare that I talked about this. Questions about anything, training, nutrition, whatever, just go ahead and ask them below and I will answer them just like I did this question in a video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, sign up for notifications. And I'm sorry it took so long, but I will see you guys in the next video.